Battle of Belmont was fought September 7th. Nope. It was fought November 7th, 1861 in Mississippi County, Missouri. It was the first combat test in the American Civil War for Brigadier General Ulysses S. President Grant, the future United Army General-in-Chief and United States President, and he's in the Hall of Fame. What Hall of Fame? The Hall of Fame. Commanders were, as aforementioned, Grant. For the North, look at this, guys. I don't think we have Leonidas yet. Have we?
Nope.
Oh, the Confederate Army gets General Polk. He had 5,000 men. Grant was like, all I need is 3,114.
Mm-hmm. They're like, you sure you don't want one more for 50? He's like, no.
I think I got too much.
That's one more mouth to feed. We don't need that.
Right.
At the beginning of the war, the critical border state of Kentucky, with a pro-Confederate governor but a largely pro-Union legislature, which we've covered, declared neutrality between the opposing sides.
Yes.
Pro-Confederate Kentuckians crossed into Tennessee to enlist, but the Union men openly formed a recruiting camp inside Kentucky, violating the state's neutrality.
Right.
In response, Confederate Major General Leonidas Polk moved Confederate forces into Kentucky on September 3rd, 1861, and occupied Columbus, a key position on the bluffs overlooking the Mississippi River. Yeah, you got to have a bluff overlooking the river, dude.
Right.
With their little spyglass.
3 days later, General Grant seized Paducah. Grant, commanding the District of Southeast Missouri, he requested permission from Theater Commander Major General John Fremont to attack Columbus, but no orders came.
What the hell kind of what kind of communication is?
And Grant's sitting there thinking, he's not going to answer me. Does he know who I will be?
And he's probably thinking, do I go ahead and do it on my own? Or
I don't think so, man. Man by the books, right? For the next 2 months only, limited demonstrations were conducted against Confederates. Fremont learned the Confederates planned to reinforce their forces in Arkansas. And on 1st of November, he ordered Grant to make a feint toward Columbus to keep the Confederates there.
Feint?
Sure. Grant sent about 3,000 men under Colonel Richard Oglesby into southeastern Missouri. He's like, go take care of that.
Go take care of it for me. Let me know what you got. Grant learned that Confederate reinforcements were moving into Missouri to intercept Oglesby column.
Oh.
He sent reinforcements and also ordered Brigadier General Charles F. Smith to move from Paducah into southwestern Kentucky to distract the Confederates. Grant chose to attack Belmont, a ferry landing and tiny hamlet of 3 shacks. Directly across the river from Columbus. Grant's expeditionary command numbered 3,114 officers and men, and was organized into 2 brigades under Brigadier General John A. McClernand and Colonel Henry Doherty, 2 cavalry companies, and an artillery battery. On November 6th, escorted by the gunboats USS Tyler and USS Lexington, Grant's men left Cairo, Illinois on the steamboats Alex Scott, Chancellor, Keystone State, Belle Memphis, James Montgomery, and Rob Roy.
So we got some more Navy stuff going on there.
Just to transport them.
Right. Confederate Major General Leonidas Polk had about 5,000 troops.
Or Leonidas.
Right. Had about 5,000 troops guarding Columbus. When he learned of Grant's movements, he assumed that Columbus was their primary objective and that Belmont was a feint. He ordered 2,700 men under Brigadier General Gideon Pillow to Belmont. He's like, just go over there to check it out anyway. Retaining the rest to defend Columbus. I think he should have gave him more than half his troops. So.
Yeah.
When he reached Belmont, Grant found Camp Johnston, a small Confederate observation post, supported by an artillery battery. He decided to attack to keep the Confederates from reinforcing Major General Sterling Price or Brigadier General Jeff Thomas of Missouri State Guard. Right. And to protect Oglesby's exposed left flank.
And he's like, we need to get rid of this little place here.
Just blow it down.
8:30 a.m. on November 7th, Grant's force disembarked at Hunter's Farm, 3 miles north of Belmont, out of range of the 6 Confederate batteries at Columbus. The Columbus heavy water batteries featured 10-inch Columbiads and 11-inch howitzers and 1 gun called the Lady Polk, which was the largest in the Confederacy, a 128-pounder Whitworth rifle. He marched his men south on the single road, clearing the obstructions of fallen timber that formed an abatis. A mile away from Belmont, they formed a battle line in a cornfield. The line consisted of the 22nd Illinois Infantry, the 7th Iowa Infantry, 31st Illinois Infantry, 30th Illinois Infantry, and the 27th Illinois Infantry, intermixed with a company of cavalry.
Hey, you got to have that cavalry. The Confederate battle line on a low ridge northwest of Belmont, from north to south, was made up of 12th Tennessee, 13th Arkansas, 22nd Tennessee, 21st Tennessee, 13th Tennessee, all of those infantries.
Infantry from Tennessee.
Right. And Arkansas. Grant's attack drove into the Confederate skirmish line, and for the remainder of the morning, both armies, consisting of Green recruits, advanced and fell back repeatedly. By 2 p.m., the fighting became one-sided as Pillow's line began to collapse, withdrawing toward Camp Johnston. The orderly retreat began to panic The orderly retreat began to panic when 4 federal field pieces opened up on the retreating soldiers.
It was orderly. A volley from the 34th Illinois killed dozens of Confederates, and the Union soldiers attacked from 3 sides and surged into the camp.
Whoa.
The Confederates abandoned their colors and their artillery and ran toward the river, attempting to escape.
Bet they did.
To Grant's credit, he was constantly at the front leading his men.
Usually was.
His horse was shot from under him, but his aide, Captain William S. Hillier, offered his mount, and Grant continued to lead. Grant's inexperienced soldiers became, in his own words, demoralized from their victory. Yeah. They just witnessed. Yeah, right. They're all green, and then now they just realize the scope of battle, and now they're like, damn, this is what we're getting into.
All these years I just read about the Revolutionary War.
Right. I didn't know people actually got killed.
Jeez. This is tough.
That's tough, man.
That's
Finish
tough.
that, man.
Finish this, man. You got finish that, man. Finish that. I'm out. And I'm gone.
Kareem Abdul. Kareem Ulysses S. Grant.
I request my immediate release.
My, what do they call it? Discharge.
Right, my discharge, because this shit ain't for me. Brigadier General McClellan walked to the center of the camp, which now flew the Stars and Stripes.
Good for them.
And asked for 3 cheers, not 1.
Hip hip hooray.
Not 2.
Hip hip hooray.
But 3.
Hip hip hooray.
A bizarre carnival-like atmosphere prevailed after that. The troops were
carried. These motherfuckers set up a Ferris wheel and all that shit.
Already.
Tilt whirls.
Jeez. And they made the black people run them. Come on, Union. I thought you were better than that. A bizarre carnival-like atmosphere prevailed. The troops were carried away by the joy of their victory. Having captured several hundred prisoners and the camp, to regain control of his men who were plundering and partying.
I'm sure they were.
Grant ordered the camp set on fire.
Oh, jeez. He's like, you know what? Fun's over, boys.
You guys having some fun? Burn it.
Fun's over.
Fun's over. In the confusion and blinding smoke, wounded Confederate soldiers and some of the tents were accidentally burned to death, causing returning Confederates to believe the prisoners had been deliberately murdered. They were.
Pretty much.
I think Grant was just pissed. He's like, no, this is
not how this shit's going to happen. We're going to do this shit.
I mean, this guy was at West Point.
Professional-ass bastards.
Yeah, this guy was at West Point where everything is spotless.
You should have probably checked the tents that you're burning down.
Still, this was a big problem for both Union and Confederate.
Did stuff.
They burned
what are you gonna do?
Raped and looted. And these guys were the BLM.
The Federals began to march back to their transports, taking with them 2 captured guns and 106 prisoners. They were suddenly attacked by Confederate reinforcements brought over from Columbus on the transports Prince and Charm, who threatened to cut off Grant's retreat. These were the men of the 15th Tennessee Infantry, the 11th Louisiana Infantry, and mixed infantry under Pillow and Colonel Benjamin F. Cheatham. By this time, Major General Leonidas Polk had also crossed the Mississippi River from Columbus and took charge of Confederate forces during the fighting. So they thought this shit was done. Ain't done now.
As the Union men turned to face Confederate reinforcements, the cannon Lady Polk fired into their ranks, and Columbus and numerous of other Confederate guns opened fire as well. The Union gunboats exchanged fire in a battle with the Confederate batteries. Grant said, well, we must cut our way out as we cut our way in. When Grant reached the landing, he learned that the Union regiment was unaccounted for.
Oh, no. He galloped back to look for it, but only found Confederate soldiers moving in his direction.
Yeah, that makes sense, he says.
He spun his horse and raced for the river, but saw that the riverboat captains had already ordered the mooring lines cast off.
Oh, no.
Grant wrote in his memoirs, the captain of the boat that had just pushed out recognized me and ordered the engineer not to start the engine. He then had a plank run out for me. My horse seemed to take it in the situation. Yeah, the horse knew he was in danger, too. He put his 4 feet over the bank without hesitation or urging, and with his hind feet well under him, he slid down the bank and trotted on board.
He felt it. He was like, I feel you, Ulysses. This is crazy. I ain't going down.
That's not even his horse.
Right? He's like, I know it. He goes, there's a reason why you're riding me, and that means the last guy you're on didn't make it.
Yeah, well, no, they did. Remember, Grant's got shot out from under him, and his other guy gave him his horse.
Right. That's what I'm saying. There's a reason why you're riding me, because the other one you were riding is gone.
Oh, right. He's like, except for that damn fate.
I had to step over his body. While the riverboats were returning to Paducah, the missing Illinois regiment was seen marching up the river.
Good for them.
And the men were taken aboard.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's cool.
In the retreat, Grant lost his bay horse, saddle, mess chest, and gold pen.
Oh, no, not his gold pen.
While McClellan lost his handsome iron-framed cot.
Oh, no.
Field desk with dispatches and his inkstand, indescribed with his name. What's an inkstand?
Obviously, where you put your little quill.
Right. He lost his inkstand, which was also inscribed with his name.
Yeah, that's valuables, dude.
Yeah. His little field desk is out floating around somewhere. Jeez.
With dispatches.
Right. The Confederates viewed Belmont as a Southern victory, since Grant had staged an attack and been driven off.
Well, I mean, they took the damn camp.
Right. Polk Superior General Albert Sidney Johnston remarked the 7th of November will fill a bright gap in our military annals and be remembered with gratitude by the sons and daughters of the South.
But you guys didn't win. Ooh. On the evening of November 7th and the morning of November 8th, Grant recalled the units he had ordered forward in Missouri and Kentucky. One Union soldier commented, well, Grant got whipped at Belmont.
He did.
What? And that scarred him so that he countermanded all of our orders and took all the troops back to their old stations by forced marches. However, Grant viewed the battle very differently.
Right.
In his memoirs, he states the two objects which the Battle of Belmont was fought were fully accomplished, which I just said.
Right.
The enemy gave up all idea of detaching troops from Columbus.
Damn right.
His losses were very heavy for that period of the war, though.
Which is smart. See, that's why Grant took down Robert E. Lee. Two of the smartest guys.
His losses were very heavy if you go on to this right here.
They were heavy. But that's the price he had to pay, right? For him, he thought this was so significant not to have these guys leave, get reinforcements, especially for Columbus, right? Union losses, 607 casualties, 120 dead, 383 wounded, 104 captured or missing. Confederate casualties slightly higher, 641, 105 dead, 419 wounded, 106 captured, 11 missing. Noteworthy result of the battle was the combat and large unit command. How they know that the 106 were captured? And there's 11 missing, though. Maybe the 11 were captured as well.
Well, the Confederates have to...
the Union has to, yeah.
Right. The Confederates also detail who they had.
Right. You know where the result of the battle was the combat and large
people
unit?
just go missing? I don't understand that.
They just leave. Or they're dead somewhere.
They're dead, but they've never been found? Like all these missing people in the war, how many missing people in the Civil War? Nobody's been found. No bodies have been found. Nothing's happened.
I'm sure there's been some bodies found somewhere, right?
Oh, maybe.
Like later on. Union lost. Oh, yeah. A noteworthy result of the battle was the combat and large unit command experience Grant gained.
He did.
It also gave President Abraham Lincoln, who was desperate for his armies to attack the Confederates somewhere, a positive impression of Grant.
Sure.
Belmont Avenue in Chicago, Illinois was named after this battle.
Not even close, but I guess it was Missouri, right there.
The formerly fortified site on the Kentucky side has been designated as the Columbus-Belmont State Park, commemorating the military operations performed in the surrounding area.
Alrighty.
That might be a good place to go check out, guys.
Alrighty. We just had a...
So we got an inconclusive battle there. What's the South say they won?
Technically inconclusive, but South says we...
Grant says, well, it was more of a...
Grant says we accomplished what we set out to do.
Right.